What's up, everyone? Hope you all are having a fantastic day. I have been wanting to do a Skyrim Let's Play for the longest time now. More specifically, a modded Let's Play. And I finally have been able to get my recording software to somewhat handle capturing the modded Skyrim without me having too much stuttering. The modded Skyrim mod, or the mod pack that I wanted to play, was Living Skyrim 4. It is a fantastic mod pack that I would recommend to everyone. It completely changes the game into arguably something that can withstand basically holding its own with today's gaming sphere. If people aren't too familiar, I can always work on doing a tutorial on how to download this mod pack since I go through Wabbajack. But I definitely want to do a let's play with the whole mod pack. So that's what I'm here to do. Now, I have explored the mod pack a little bit just so that I could get a feel for things, as well as the kind of direction I want to take my character into. So I haven't gotten too far into anything. Mainly it's been more so setting up the character and then just kind of little side quests, you know, like delivery jobs or go here and kill this bandit chief. As soon as this loads, I'll go through the whole character creation. I kind of have an idea of the character I want to make, so it shouldn't take too long, and then I can try to explain all of the ways to set up the character. Since the character creation, there's been a lot of change to the standing stones as well as the shrines. All of it's going to play a part into giving your character effects, active effects, and stuff like that to make it easier to play. And here we are. So first things first, obviously we want to decide on what race we want to be. Now, I've played a little bit with all of the different types of races. A lot of people do pick Khajiit in the base game, or they're picking, let's see, where is it? Argonians. People will also pick Nords. With this mod pack, I like to play a battlemage. I just find playing a mage extremely fun. I like being able to alternate through the different abilities that a mage can use in order to make themselves withstand combat, whether that be like adding of like oak flesh or stone flesh, whatever it is that you have, to make yourself more durable. You have your runes that you can put down, or you have the actual destruction abilities. I just enjoy being a mage. I've always liked being a wizard in games, so that's the route that I'm going to take. Now, with this mod pack, one of the key things that a Breton has over all of the other races is that a Breton can resist magic. And they actually have a base trait with their race where they can absorb magic, I believe. I'll have to take a look again, but I do know that they can resist magic. So that's very beneficial when we do decide if we want to go through the College of Winterhold questline. So having this natural ability to resist magic is something that I prefer to have. If you have like Dark Elf, it focuses more on like a stealth magic build. They do naturally resist fire, which is good, but a lot of creatures in Skyrim, or a lot of mage users in Skyrim, don't really use fire too much. Dragons do, and I do know that some of these like defense systems that use like soul gems use fire. I just don't see too much of a use for it personally. High elves, they get basically more magicka, and while yes, that can help in the early game, I try to go for percentage-based effects, because percentage-based effects will also carry their assistance even into the late game. Because whether I get 25 magicka now or a 25 increase to my magicka, sure, the 25 extra magicka now would be awesome, But if I get a 25% increase, that's a whole different thing. Especially when you start climbing in your magicka. Imperials are good too. They focus on magic and one-handed, as well as, you know, they're very good at picking up gold. So Imperials are definitely a good race to choose if you want to be a little bit more of like the sword and magic player. And again, they do find a lot of gold. And then, I mean, I haven't really explored the other races too much with this mod pack, but I definitely have had my eyes set on a Breton. There's a lot to character creation. You can see that there's camera movement. You can even get as detailed as sculpting the face. I'm not going to get into all of that though. We're just going to do a few presets here. We are going to use I believe we can use this face here. Complexion, bring that down. No scars, no war paint. Your shape is fine. Go actually over here to all. This will give us the full range. Ring is weight up to 0.69. This makes him a little bit more muscular. Let's see. We're gonna bring facial hair to no facial hair. As you guys can see, the mod pack does offer quite an extensive amount of character creation, so there's a lot that you can do to get the character that you want. There's a specific hairstyle that I like to go for, as I try to go for somewhat of a paladin look. Not it. Come on. There it is. I'm gonna go for that. Make it black. Fix the eyes in a second. Let's square out the jawline a little bit. With no a height. Fine. Forward. That we don't need jaw forward. Let's see. Switch the nose type. It's fine. Then switch the mouth out. It's fine. Then we're going to bring the mouth back a little, and then we're going to bring the chin forward some. There we go. Alright, now let's go back to the eyes. Eye shape. Let's do... No. Let's see. I think 18 works. And then we're going to look for the ice blue. Just blue ice. Eye height. It's fine. And then cheekbone width. Can we bring those in just a little? As far as we can go. And then that's about it. Yeah, that's about it. I don't mess with too much of this stuff down here. We just do. Oh, this is it. Okay. So now what I typically like to have fun with is body paints. So typically I give the character tattoos, and then I like to do a little something with the runes that kind of make them a little bit more interesting in my opinion. But basically this bottom layer here is the top thing that's going to show. So we're going to start with this layer here. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to set it to pitch black. Finish. And then there's a set of tattoos called Ruta. I'm saying it correctly. That I like to use. Alright, so what I typically do is I like to do the full sleeves. But I don't like how faded they appear. So what I'll end up doing is I'll do another layer of them. Which kind of darkens it up a bit. And then I'll do the same thing for the right sleeve. There we go. And then for the... should be one for the chest. There we go. And I'll do the chest again. Just so that we can get a good clear visual on it. And then, oh. There we go. And then I'm going to swap the camera just so that we can turn them around. Then for the back, we're gonna do the left shoulder. I think we're gonna go with the actually the right shoulder. I like the skull a little bit more. We're going to double up on it just to make it a little bit more visible. Now this last layer I have saved for what I like to call the runes. I have an idea where, since we're coming from the Realm of Lorkhan, I believe is what it's called. I like to think of the character as being sent down from by the divines. As well as with the overall story of you being the Dragonborn. it just makes more sense to me. So what I do like to choose is WNB, Nordic Ornate Runic Runes. And let me swap so he's facing us. And then if we take the color, I set it to fully red. And then you guys will notice that there is a glow option, which I will set the glow option to like this yellowish green color. I think it's 249 on red, or 229 on red that I put it at. And it gives like this fiery glow look that we can then move around the body. So next up would be the hand paint. And we can go ahead and zoom in and then swap the camera and move down to his hands. Since he's since I'm focusing on mage, I do like to have a little bit of focus on like hand tattoos as well. For the hand tattoos, there's actually finger tattoos that I like as soon as I can find them. Yep, here they are. And we're gonna set to black. Actually, what happens if I've never played with it in this regard. I think I'm gonna just set them to black, like I normally do, as like finger tattoos. And then I do the ornate runes again, where I make it red, then I set it to that yellowy green color that puts R and RGB at 229. Yep, right there. Okay, and that's basically kind of what it looks like there. For the foot paint, I'm just going to do the ornate runes again. If we look down at his feet, he's got them on his foot there. The last thing is the face, and it's very hard for me to really settle down on what I want to do for the face. They do have quite a lot of stuff for the face. Get the color black so we can actually see what it's doing. And yes, I do like a lot of the textures they have for the face. It's just that it's a little difficult to settle on something since that's always what the face will look like. So it is a little hard to find something that I'm just happy with seeing constantly on his face. I always get stuck at this part. I really do. Kinda like that. I know this is the female version, so it looks all offset, like that nose. The male version, it's centered in the nose. You just have to scroll further to find it, but you kind of get the gist of what it's gonna look like. These aren't too bad either. Kind of gives me like Kiss vibes. I typically always look at this, but I do like when it goes across the nose bridge. Get down to the... I mean, that's not too bad. We'll see what it looks like on the male version. Let's get down to the male versions. Alright, so now we're at the male versions. And notice it's a lot more centered on the face now. Where was that last one? See, there's the nose one I was talking about not too long ago. Here's the one we just had. I mean, that's not too bad. Let's see what happens when I go out. What happens if I color it? Oh no. Nope. Give it. The coloring is a little much. What if I were to... that, and then fade it out. I don't like that either. I think I'll just keep that. I kind of like that. Yeah, I kind of like that. So now I'm going to name them. And typically I try to go for like a paladin name. So I'll do something like Darius Lightbringer. Typically my go-to. Even though he's not a paladin. So now the mod pack is going to sit here and configure the mod configuration managers. This does take quite a moment for it to do that. So I kind of just let the mod pack get that out of the way. You are free to explore. You're free to like do things. I mean, doing things isn't gonna upset the mod pack. Trying to configure. I just kind of wait a moment. That's all. As you guys can see, this is pretty much what the character looks like. Most of the time, this stuff is going to be... That's normal. Most of the time, this stuff is going to be covered up by armor. So, I mean, it's not really going to be too much, but on the off chance you do see it, it is pretty cool for the character. So, as you guys have seen, there's an independent third-person camera. Typically with the base game of Skyrim, as soon as you go into a combat state, which this is combat state, the third-person camera would fix to the back of your character. It no longer does that now. You have free use of your camera, similar to third-person games nowadays like Grand Theft Auto. So this is like one of the examples where I mean the game does bring Skyrim into a level of contesting with new age games. There's also lock-on functions as well. And if you guys haven't guessed by now, I'm actually using a controller this entire time. So there's obviously a lot more that you can do with mouse and keyboard because there's a lot of mods. But I prefer a controller. I first played Skyrim on PlayStation 3. So I've always been used to just playing this game on a controller. But it looks like it's done configuring the mods. Nope, it's still going. So we'll still give it a moment. As you can see here, just one example that I was giving about the layers for the tattoos. On the back here, you can see that the black skull tattoo is underneath the carved runes in his body. And that's why I had that layer be last, because I wanted the runes on top of all of his tattooing, as if he was created and then the divines marked him. It just wouldn't make sense for his tattoo to appear over his runes in my head. And as you can see, they wrap around his tattoos on his arm, as well as going over his chest. Any second now, it should be done configuring the mod managers. There it is, right there. So the first thing I do, and this is for anybody who wants to play on controller, I go to mod configuration. And one of the things that you can have in this game, or in this mod pack, is the need to sleep, as well as eat and drink, as well as being in warm temperature climates. Being in the cold for too long can hurt you. So one thing that's important is to have access to the campfire mod pack. Why the campfire mod pack is very important is because it allows you to chop up wood, create campfires, and then you can sit at the campfire to gain warmth when you're in relatively a very cold environment, which 90% of Skyrim is cold environment. The way they have the mod pack generate, the hotkeys are bound to these keys, and again, I like to play on controller, so I'm doing this because I play on controller, but again, you can set up the hotkeys any way you want. But thankfully, the helpful Discord server that's dedicated to this mod pack and getting it to work properly taught me this, that if I go to profiles, I haven't made my own campfire profile. I have no need to. This is just the generated one. So setting it to the default profile doesn't really change anything except for the hotkeys. The hotkeys get set to escape somehow. I'm not entirely sure, because I guess that's like a filler button. Even though escape doesn't actually activate any of this stuff, escape is still for the menu. But what it does do is it then puts those abilities, or those things that you need to do with the mod pack as abilities, such as building a campfire, harvest wood. You can even do instincts, but I'm not too worried about instincts. It's more so harvesting wood and building the campfire for me. Having those as abilities that you can favorite easily helps with the controller. So, first thing I always do. Now we need to set him up to be a mage. Let's actually get some clothes on him too. There we go. So, the first thing that I like to look into is there's a book that's put in your inventory called Select a Class, or Select Class. If you read this book, it's going to ask you what class you want to be, as well as what birth sign you'll follow. Now you can make your own custom class where it goes through asking you like what attributes do you want, or you can follow the classic classes from, I guess, the older Elder Scrolls games. I'm actually going to choose to follow a classic class, and I'm going to choose a battlemage. What choosing a battlemage does is it makes your major skills one-handed, alteration, conjuration, destruction, enchanting, and alchemy. The main reason why I'm using it is for the one-handed and destruction being my major skills. I also like the fact that it gives you an ability for ruin, where all destruction spells are 10% stronger. This is right off the bat before you even start the game. Having destruction spells being 10% stronger is a huge help to killing an enemy at the start of the game. And again, like I said, I like percentage based effects because percentage-based effects scale as you get stronger. So, confirm that. Now we're going to select a birth sign. So for the birth signs, I like to go for the mage signs, and then I like to look into the Atronach. So the Atronach, not only do you become resistant to what's it called? Not only do you become resistant to magic, but you have a 10% chance to absorb incoming spells. You'd be surprised how much you actually absorb from magic with the Atronach birth sign. I've seen like attacks that aren't magic somehow get absorbed, and I don't know what that's about, but it just happens. So I always go for the Atronach birth sign. Now, the thing is, though, I do not choose the Atronach Standing Stone. The Atronach Standing Stone is somewhere around here. If I end up finding it, I'll show you guys, but I actually go for the Mage Stone. The Mage Stone, as soon as we accept the sign, it does put a decrease on how much magicka we use when casting spells. Again, another percentage-based effect. And now that this sign is affected, or the stone is selected, you look into... Where is my stuff? Oh my goodness. What am I doing? There we go. If we look at the Mage Stone, not only do we get 15 more points into magicka right off the bat, but again, your spells and enchantments cost 10% less. So whenever we're casting like a destruction spell, not only is this destruction spell costing, or is dealing 10% more damage, but it's also costing 10% less magicka, which means I have to use very little magic to kill something. Right, in Ancestry here, your magic resistance is increased by 25%, and you have a 15% chance to absorb the magicka from incoming spells. Couple that with the Atronach Burst sign, you get another 10% chance to absorb incoming spells. Destruction spells are 10% stronger with Ruin. And then, of course, improved magicka, I have magicka is increased by 20 points. So, there's the class done, the birth sign selected, the stone selected. Next up, we need to reflect. And what reflect is it's a power that you can use in the beginning where you remember what you did in your past life or what you did prior. As I contemplate my next course of action, I reflect back on the decisions that have brought me to this point, including time in my homeland. And of course, since I am building a mage, I'm going to choose magic. And I'm actually going to choose mageling, where it adds 10 points to my destruction tree. You can see right there. The final thing that we need to do is our shrines. Finding the right shrine can help us have an active effect that we can continuously place on ourselves as we play the game. Now, while yes, the Shrine of Mara does increase... Actually, no, that is probably going to be the shrine I use. Yeah, I got these two mixed up. So while yes, the Shrine of Julianos increases my magicka by 25 points, I like the idea that the Shrine of Mara increases the regeneration by 25%. I've already got 50 plus points from, what, studied? Keep doing that. Yeah, studied gave us 20 plus points. And I got 50 plus points from wisdom, so that's 70 right there increased to my magicka. I don't need any more than that. Got my resistance, I've got my absorption, and I've got my decrease to destruction spells. So really, out of these shrines, I'm going to want the Shrine of Mara, because the Shrine of Mara will help with regeneration when you couple that with the absorption. Now, Shrine of Talos is pretty good when it comes to shouts, but right now I don't have shouts. And then the Shrine of Akatosh is also pretty good, as it's 10% more to experience. The leveling in this game goes a lot differently than in the normal base game. In the base game, as you level up your trees is how you are able to level your character. I'm definitely somebody who will sit there with 2 muffle spells and just spam illusion constantly and legendarying the tree so I can level the character. With this version of the game, you level by discovering places. So the more you discover, the more you explore, the more you'll level, which means that there's going to be a lot of walking around and not a lot of fast travel, because it's beneficial that the more I discover, the faster I'll level. Having 10% more experience would definitely help with leveling, but I do genuinely like the magical regeneration that I get from the Shrine of Mara. The rest of these, you guys can see here, carry weight, health is increased, stamina regen, health regen, stamina. These are typically more so for if you're building like a warrior class, but I'm going to be going with magical regeneration. Getting a blessing has one of the coolest looks and sounds to it that I thoroughly enjoy from this mod pack. Once you've prayed at one of the shrines, you do get a power called prayer, where if you have prayer equipped, you'll notice that my active effects shows magical regeneration for 7 hours, 59 minutes, and 45 seconds. If I go ahead and prayer, you'll notice now it says 7 hours, 59 minutes, and 56 seconds. It resets the timer. So whenever I lose my active effect for the Shrine of Mara, I don't have to find a new one to re-bless myself. I can just pray, and it will reapply the active effect onto me. Now, I don't like to try to start myself off with too much. As you can see here, there is a ton of gems that spawn. There's already 2 diamonds that you can see, a sapphire, a ruby, and an emerald, and I wouldn't bet money. Yep, there's an emerald and another sapphire in there. There's only one thing that I really want to have when we start. Well, 2 things. Or I guess you could say 3. That is the pickaxe. We'll take coins, because we'll definitely need money at the beginning of the game. I'll definitely take potions. Oh, and let's run a quick save as well. That's another thing that I forgot to mention. I've talked with some of the modders in the Discord community, and for this mod pack, they have disabled quick save as it causes the game to crash at times. And they also recommend before a load screen to save the game, because the game could crash during a load screen. So they always recommend to save before a load screen, not after. Crashing in this mod pack is super rare, like super rare, especially since this mod pack has 1,500 plus mods. It's quite impressive how rare crashing is, but it does happen, and that's perfectly fine, you know. But they definitely recommend constantly keeping up with saving. That's another thing of why I played the game a little bit before I decided to do a Let's Play, so I could build up the habit of needing to save or reminding myself that I need to save, so I don't spend an hour playing, die, and then I lose that entire hour's worth of progress. So basically, grab these potions here. I like to start with a tens. And in order to make a tent, two cave bear pelts, and then the fox pelt. I believe that's all the pelts that is going to spawn in here. We're going to come over to the tanning rack. And we're going to make a single piece of leather. Well, let me see what it requires. We're going to build the small tent and bedroll that requires 6 fur plates and 2 leather. So, if I remember correctly, I believe fur plates can make leather, but leather can't make fur plates. So I'm going to make the leather with the fox pelt. I'm going to make 4 fur plates with the cave bear. 4 more fur plates with the cave bear. And then I'm going to make, yes, okay, so fur plates do make leather. I'm going to make 1 more piece of leather. And that will get us our tent and bedroll. This is so that when I'm out and about, I can, you know, go to sleep. Basically all it's for. Okay, so last thing I need to pick up is just the woodcutter's axe. So the woodcutter's axe can be found over here. There's a small chopping block here. It even has firewood that you can take, but I'm not going to take it. And then from this point, it's just about deciding on where we're going to spawn into the world. Run another quick save. Now, there's a multitude of things where we can spawn, shipwrecks and stuff like that. Unfortunately, with this start, there is no doing the normal start where you're in the carriage and out doing attacks. But the closest that we have is a Cyrodiil, or the border of Cyrodiil start, which is typically what I like to do. I think it's right here. Yeah. Again, there's a lot of starts. You can start in the city. You can start at boat wrecks, horse-drawn wrecks. You can start at Hrothgar. Hrothgar's start is up there at the top. But I like to start at the Cyrodiil border because it gives us closer to a natural start as we can get. And I just like the natural start. There's just something about Riverwood, you know, being your first town that you come across. That's incredible that I spawned in the middle of a blizzard. So, Sunhelm, find a bed to sleep in. That is when it triggers the weather and the needing the food, needing the water. So right now I'm actually okay in the cold, but typically this would start killing me. So let's try to get out of this. And I'll typically run down this way. We should come up on Helgen. That's typically what I like to go for. Running into Helgen. And that is Alduin triggered. So the main story can continue from there. Alright, so... Oh, looks like the weather cleared up. That's good for us. Alright, so just like that, we're already in sort of the normal start that we get if we were to choose like Hadavar. Pick up the gold that I know that's over here. In that. We're gonna grab the helmet in this chest. And the gold. We're gonna grab Warden's chest here. Take the key just to have it. Alright, what we got? Destruction, we have sparks. Okay. Take the sword. Dump our rough tunic. Equipped our new armor. There we go. And then we'll favorite the mercenary iron sword, just so that it's hooked to our hip. And I think that's pretty good. Now we can definitely go through here and get into the room that we get into where if we were to follow Ralof. And I'll actually just show you guys. I want to pick up the iron sword. But we can't get any further than that. Once we try to open up the cage, even though that we have the Helgen key, it'll just say that we need to speak to the Jarl. I should go tell the Jarl about the dragon. That's basically where it leaves us off at. Can't wait to check the time, so we'll hop out of this building. Not like we can sleep in it anyways, these beds can't be slept in. I think what I'm gonna do, with how long this video has already gone, I think I'm gonna put a pause here. And yeah, I think I'm gonna put a pause here, and I definitely do want to continue this series. I really do like playing Skyrim, especially since this is my first run through of a heavily modded version of Skyrim. I used to do like Nexus mods like in the past, or I would do like the mods that you could download easily through the re-release of Skyrim. But this is just getting to play the game in a whole different way. So if you guys definitely want to see more of this, feel free to give me any type of anything, like or comment that you want to see more. Yeah, I hope you guys enjoyed the series. See ya.